the purport here, text number 55, 56 here. One should have a wife just to beget a son who can deliver one from the clutches of Yamaraj. Unless one has a son to offer oblations to the forefathers, one must suffer in Yamaraj's kingdom. King Chitraketu was very much aggrieved, thinking that because his son was going away with Yamaraj, he himself would again suffer. But Prabhupada puts on at the end that some two laws exist for the karmis. If one becomes a devotee, he has no more obligation to the laws of karma. Laws of karma are there for the non-devotee. But if we're a devotee, right? What's the verse from Bhagavad Gita?
What is the knowledge? What are you asking for?
That the devotee is not obliged to the laws of karma. Devotee is not under the laws of karma. Yagnata karmananyatra loka yam karma bandhana tada kam karma kundiyan mukta sangha samadhi. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise that work binds one to the material nature. Therefore perform your prescribed duty. Unattached, free from
Maharaj, for this shloka or something like that, some people in ISKCON, they say that you are not a pure devotee. These are for the pure devotees. So while you are not a pure devotee, you should do pindadan, all those things.
Who is not a pure devotee? Anybody is following 4 regulated principles and chanting 16 rounds, they're on the platform of pure devotion. Prabhupada was how many pure devotees do we have in our movement? Prabhupada, they were asking Prabhupada, apart from you, Prabhupada, are there any other pure devotees? Prabhupada said, how many people do we have in the movement? He said, then there are at least that many pure devotees. Because you're following 4 regulated principles, you're chanting, you're not doing anything sinful. So that is pure devotion. Of course, there's different levels of pure devotees, but still, that is pure devotion. You're not doing anything sinful. Alright, so Queen Krita Jyoti is really, berserk. She lost her son, the king is berserk. And then great sage Angira, he understood the king was almost dead in an ocean of lamentation. So he comes to the palace along with Narada Rishi. So we will go on to chapter 15, which is the saints Narada and Angira instruct King Chitraketu. Now, so Narada and Angira, first of all, they instruct him about spiritual consciousness.
Narada Rishi Haraji,
He's come along with Angira.
Okay.
Angira brought him. There's a reason for that. You see, Angira, he's mainly speaking, he's going to speak mainly about kind of jnana. He's going to give jnana. He's going to be talking about the difference between the body and the soul. But Narada Muni, he's going to explain about devotion. And Narada Muni is the ambassador of Bhakti, he's the great preacher of Bhakti. So he brought Narada with him just to give that Bhakti, give that devotion touch. Anyway, Angira begins and he's questioning the king. What relationship does the dead body have with you? Do you think this relationship existed before? Before the son was born, it had no relationship with you. Now the son is dead, there's no relationship with you. So where is the relationship? For some time, temporarily, you had some relationship. So like this, Angira is speaking this Gyan. He's explaining to him the nature of the soul. Don't be attached to the body. Understand what happened. That for the soul there's no birth and death. The body's going to die. Then Angira gives another example. Particles of sand, they come together, but then they're separated, and the waves of the water will separate them. The same way living entities come together, and in the course of time they will be separated. We come together. Just like another example they give, you sit in the bus. You know, you get in the bus, maybe you're going to Calcutta, you take a bus. So many people get on the bus, you know, and we talk to, oh, Hare Krishna, it's Mayapur, like, you know, I could talk to them a little bit. You talk to them on the bus, but once you get off the bus, you never see them again, you know, their relationship's finished. So like that. So same way, we come together in a family. You have a husband, you have a wife, you have children, parents, all that. We come together, but these relationships are not eternal. John Lennon, famous man, John Lennon, his wife was Yoko Ono. So Prabhupada was staying in their house for a little while in England, before we had a temple, before we had anywhere of our own. They needed somewhere to stay, and they arranged that they could stay at John Lennon's house. So John Lennon and Yoko Ono, they understood Prabhupada that he was a very powerful master, so they came to see him. And they said, please bless us that we can be husband and wife in our next life. So,
next life.
Next life, you want to be husband. So Prabhupada said, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot give that kind of foolish blessing.
Then one more Maharaj, once he was traveling, Prabhupada was traveling in a train. That time, in a long journey, in second class AC, Prabhupada was in that coupe. So there are two bodyguards was there, two brahmacharis was there always. And outside some businessmen were there. So since from Kolkata to Delhi, they were trying to talk to Prabhupada. So they failed, they couldn't talk to him. Then when Delhi is approaching, then in sometimes for few seconds or sometimes these two brahmacharis was not there. Then this businessman, they get inside that coupe and they prostrate to Prabhupada and said, Sadhuji, please bless us. Then Prabhupada got search for those brahmacharis. By the time those brahmacharis they have come, so they are feeling so sorry because they have gone inside. Then Prabhupada said, okay, you want blessing? And my blessing, my blessing is this. You want? These two brahmacharis he was indicating. You want these blessings? Then they ran away from there. But no, I don't want this. In one of the class, there was Bangsuvanan Prabhu was telling this story.
Yeah, they didn't want to be brahmacharis. Okay, so example about sand come together. So we're in the material body, but our real business is to make spiritual progress. We have to get out of the body's conception of life. And we have to be convinced the nature of the material world. So long as we're thinking there's happiness here in the material world, then it will be very difficult to actually be a devotee. If we're still thinking that you can enjoy life here in this world, then you won't get very far in Krishna consciousness. because we're thinking, well, I haven't made it yet, but one day I'll make it, you know. The happiness is just round the corner, just now coming. We're thinking like that. So if you think like that, it will be very difficult for you to really surrender to Krishna. We have to really be convinced that there's no real happiness anywhere in this world. And Angira gives another example. Seeds are sown in the ground. Sometimes they grow into plants and sometimes do not. Just like we planted flowers over here. So you put the seeds there, some seeds sprout, some seeds come up, and some seeds don't. Sometimes the ground is fertile, and sometimes not. Our field over there, they're growing mustard. Some parts it will grow good, some parts it doesn't grow at all. So the same way, Prabhupada Angira is comparing it to begetting a child. Sometimes conception takes place. You should not lament over the artificial relationship of parenthood. Sometimes the father can beget a child, but sometimes cannot. The father, he may be healthy and strong and fertile, and the mother may be fertile also, but still she's not able to conceive a child. But sometimes you get a man who's impotent, and the woman's also barren, and somehow they get a child. You know, how to understand it? It's the potency of the Lord. It's not the parents who are doing it. It's the grace of the Supreme Lord. So this Chitraketu, he married so many wives, but he couldn't get a child. He wasn't meant to have a child. That was the real fact. That he was thinking, I have to have a child, but he wasn't meant. It wasn't his karma. It wasn't really his duty. He just didn't have it to have a child. So the child was sent by the grace of Maya, but the child was not to live for long. So this was the meaning of Harsha Sok. Happiness, some jubilation, and some lamentation. So Prabhupada explains here different conditions. Sometimes a child is born despite contraceptive methods, and then the parents want to kill the child in the womb. They have pills, the birth pill. They'll give you a pill so you don't get pregnant. And the woman can enjoy, or she can have her sex and not get pregnant. But then sometimes they do get pregnant, although they're taking the pill. So they have these different contraceptive methods. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the child is produced, and sometimes not. So, we have to understand whatever's taking place, it's not under the control of the parent, the mother and father. It's under the control of the Supreme Lord. The Prabhupada said, it depends on the Supreme Will. It is by the Supreme Will that we are situated in certain conditions of family, community, and personality. So this is an important point. We should act only to develop Krishna consciousness. For everything else, one should depend on the Supreme Person. We should not make plans that will ultimately make us frustrated. This is the problem, you know. People so eager to enjoy the body. So Prabhupada says in the present age, killing children in the womb has become a common practice. Abortion, very common. In India, many abortions. People don't just have one abortion, they have many. You get ladies coming to Krishna consciousness and they've had abortion so many times. And we get that too in other countries. Very common. The one devotee I know, his wife got pregnant, he took her to the hospital and they were sitting waiting to see the doctor. There was a big line of ladies and they were all coming, but all the other ladies, they all wanted abortions. They were surprised that, no, we want the baby, we don't want abortion. It was a shock to the people now, because usually everybody comes, they just want abortions, they don't want the baby. When this couple came, they said, no, we want the baby. They're like, oh, it was a surprise to them. It's Kali Yuga. People are so cold, hearty.
Murderer.
Huh?
Murderer.
Oh yeah, murderers, killing children in the womb. Very common.
Maharaj, there used to be a time where it was just like, if it happened outside of marriage, then for reputation. But the unfortunate thing is that it's happening in marriage now. They just like want to enjoy and they're not ready to have a child and they'll get rid of the baby. So it's getting worse. It's getting worse. The reasons for abortion are getting worse.
Right, yeah. It used to be in marriage, people would be having young children. And now, of course, now what happens, people, they wait a long time before they can have a child. And when they get like 40, they think, I'd like a child. Already 40, it's already too old, And they try to do things, they go to the sperm bank, and they have to put the sperm inside the womb. The woman has to be on the bed for 3 months or something, spend a lot of money. And sometimes they get kids, sometimes they usually get twins or something, usually twin girls. It's kind of common. They spend a lot of, it's a big business, But the father, he was a bit kind of, it's not my child, Father had a difficult time relating to the child because the father knows it wasn't my sperm, it wasn't me who injected into the womb. Another person's children. You have to bring them up. These things go on in Kali Yuga.
So how is it? It is not that against the law of that nature. He is not just trying to have a child, and they are bringing it from other sperm bank and all.
Yeah, well, okay. They're bringing some other soul taking birth. Yeah, soul is taking birth. They're bringing up a soul. All right. But we don't have any. They want to do that. Let them bring it up to be a pure devotee. Bring the children up to be pure devotees. The attitude of the couple in producing a child is, these children will not take birth again. This will be their last birth. That they should not have to take birth again. So if you to bring the children up to be pure devotees, very good. But it's not very auspicious, Usually we say, if you get a child born in the family of devotees, then there have been great yogis in the past life. Almost perfect. And they take birth in a devotee family. So that's good. But it's certainly not natural. But people do this thing. They want children. People want very much to have a child. Some people want very much not to have children. And that's why they do abortion. Of course, some mothers, they will have the child and then they'll give it for adoption to other people. Give it away to somebody else. That's better than killing. But to kill the child in the womb, we say it's murder. They say no, it's not murder. The child is not born yet. Medically, if you do abort, they say it's not wrong. They say it's nothing. So they approve it, and that's how they get away with doing so many murders. It's certainly very nasty business. The people involved with that, the doctors, the nurses, and the women who go and do it, and then, not good.
His Holiness Chapter Maharaj has started child adoption service also, because one of his disciples, she did abortion. So he has requested those who want to not have child, don't do abortion, just have a child and we can adopt the child.
Yeah, there's many people who want children. You want a child, of course, they pay a lot of money to adopt a child, to get a child. There's one, I was in Sweden, and one couple there told me they adopted a child. They had to spend a lot of money. They had to go to China, spend a lot of money, and bring the child back. And of course, the child is not always perfect. There's usually something wrong, a little bit wrong. That's often why we give the child for adoption. There's something wrong. Anyway. And sometimes handicapped, sometimes blind, sometimes just a brain, some problem, they can't study properly, they can't learn things properly, different issues. Alright, so idea is trying to preach to the king to bring him out of his illusion, out of his lamentation. And you can see here, text number 5, it said, before our birth, this situation did not exist. After our death, it will not exist. Therefore, our situation now is temporary. It is not false. Right? Different from Mayapur say Brahman Satyam Jagat Mitra. We say Brahman Satyam Jagat Satyam. The world is also real.
Real but temporary.
But temporary. And here he said, it is like a dream. Just like a dream. Before the dream doesn't exist. After the dream, it doesn't exist. Just in the course of the dream. So this material life is just like a dream. It's impermanent. So there's no reason to lament. And then the next verse, Lord Krishna is the master and proprietor. And he is certainly not interested in the material creation. But just like a boy at the beach creates something in which he is not interested, the Lord, keeping everything under his control, causes creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So the young boy goes to the beach, he will build a sandcastle, he will build a nice house out of sand on the beach. But, it's not real, he can't take it away with him, it's just going to sit there, and when the tide comes in, it will all be washed away. So the same way like that, everything material world, it is temporary. The Lord engages a father to beget a son. He maintains a government or a king to see to the public's welfare. And he has annihilation done. The killing takes place through creatures like snakes. So different agents are all there for the creation of the Lord. Ultimately, he's behind everything. But they're appointed by the Lord. Their main duty is to consult the Lord and act accordingly. Right? Prabhupada writes, the leaders, the chaotic condition in the world is due to the ignorance of leaders. They have forgotten that they've been appointed to act by the Supreme Lord. And they've been appointed, their duty is to consult the Lord and act accordingly. And they should consult the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna is there giving direction. So this is the idea. Everything is there in the Bhagavad Gita. And here it continues with the example about seeds. One seed can generate another. The same way, one body, the body of the father, through the body of the mother, can generate a third body, the body of a son. The elements of the material body are eternal. The living entity who appears through these material elements is also eternal. You understand this? The elements of the material body are eternal. But the body is not eternal. The elements are eternal. Earth, water, fire, air, they're eternal. But they go through transformations. They're changed, they come to different changes. Right? You have to understand this point. Prakriti, Krishna's Prakriti is eternal, but it takes different forms. Take one body and then breaks down. The body it deteriorates. All the elements go back into the other elements. And then another body is produced. So understanding from Bhagavad Gita, there are two energies. There's the material energy and the spiritual energy. And both are eternal. They're both the potencies of the Lord.
So, Maharaj, these gross elements and subtle elements, they are all subtle elements also eternal?
Yes. Yes, they're Krishna's Prakriti. Krishna's Prakriti. They're eternal. Sometimes they manifest, sometimes they're not. Right? The different elements of the body, sometimes they manifest, sometimes they're not. Sometimes the bodies are there, sometimes the body's not. The elements go back into the total elements. Like Mahatagga, the reservoir of all the material elements. The living being is part and parcel of the Lord. But we're given different bodies to enjoy. The so-called father and mother have nothing to do with the living entity. The living being takes different bodies through the agency of the father and mother. And here it continues, talking about divisions of generalization and specification, such as nationality and individuality, are the imaginations of persons who are not advanced in knowledge. Don't be put off by the language. Angira is just saying that these designations, Russian, Bengali, European, like that, we have different designations. Woman, man, young, old, all these different designations. These are all just designations of the body, but they're imaginations. People who are advanced in knowledge, they won't be bewildered by these designations. Right? Devotional service means sarvupadi vinirmuktam. Give up all these designations. Give up all the upadis.
Brahmacharis, grihasthas.
Yes, this is all designations, right? They didn't exist before and they won't exist in the future. Our real designation is so all these different designations are there. This is for imagination of people who are not in knowledge. Sukadev Goswami continues. So, Maharaj Chitraketu is enlightened. He's been hearing the instructions of Angira. He's hopeful with knowledge. He wipes his shriveled face with his hand and he begins to speak. And he said, oh, because they've come there, they're dressed like avaduts, liberated persons. But I see that of all men, you are the most elevated in awareness. You know everything as it is. You are the greatest of all great personalities. And so the king asked them, while he's speaking, he's praising them. Brahmanas who are exalted to the position of Vaishnavas, the most dear servants of Krishna, sometimes dress like madmen, just to benefit materialists like us. So the king understood his own position. He said, these Vaishnavas wander on the surface of the globe just to help us to get out of ignorance. So the king is eager. He said, I have heard that there are great perfect personalities wandering the earth. And he named some of them. He names a lot of them. And he said, you must be among them. He's wondering, are you among them? Are they?
No. Angira is there.
Angira is there. Narada is also there.
Narada is also
Different names are there. So great personalities. That's very important to get that association. Help us to realize the nature of the truth. So Prabhupada talks about people in ignorance. You can see he talks about the 4 kinds of people who never surrendered to Krishna. Right? 4 kinds of people.
Maharaj, these 400 people, could you help us understand? I have difficulty understanding these 4 kinds of people.
Who don't surrender?
Yeah.
Maya aparita jnana asuram bhavam ashritam. Well, first of all, namam duskritino mutha. Duskritina. They're all duskritinas. They have no sukriti. There's no pious activity. They're sinful people. And they're described as mudhas, donkeys. Work very hard to get some sense gratification. And just want to work. And then Naradama, lowest of men. They're born in good families. Maybe they're born in a Brahmana family, but they won't do anything. They won't study scripture. They don't want to follow regulatory principles. They're Naradamas. They're low. They actually have the opportunity. It could be very easy for them, but they won't take the opportunity. Then Maya aparita jnana, knowledge stolen by illusion. They study the scriptures by their own intelligence, try to understand everything. based on their own thinking and speculation. Maya aparita, knowledge stolen by illusion. Then asuram bhavam ashrita, atheists, blasphemers, those who criticize Vaishnavas, fault finders. These are the four kinds of people who never surrender.
Maharaj, what is the meaning of miscreant?
Miscreant means no part. That means they're very fallen, very sinful. They have no good qualities. Yeah?
Okay.
Those miscreants. They're all fallen souls. And then Prabhupada quotes another verse. Ignorance is the bodily conception of life. It's a Yashat Madhuti Guna Petri Dakute. And then Sa Eva Gokara. Sa Eva Gokara. One who thinks he is the body which is made up of three elements. Mucus, bile and air. Three elements. We think I'm this body, it's just a bag made up of mucus, bile and air. So this person is as foolish as a cow or an ass. Just like the animal has no proper intelligence to understand. So the person who thinks like that is described to be like a cow or an ass.
Maharaj, in one side we worship cow, other side we are telling that the other animals also foolish, but why this cow names here?
Well, the Eva Gokara, go means cow. It's an animal. Although, of course, we value the cow, we protect the cow, but don't think it has any intelligence. Cows don't have any, they're not blessed with any intelligence. They cannot understand the nature of the soul or the importance of self-realization. Right? You're not going to preach to the cows.
Because they are giving milk, life-giving.
Yeah, they're giving milk, very good. Yeah, we need the milk. But it doesn't mean we're going to try and make them self-realized. Their duty is to give milk. They're animals. So then Prabhupada says everybody on this planet especially, he said they're thinking the body and the soul are the same. They think there's no need of self-realization. So all the brahmanas listed here travel all over the world to awaken Krishna consciousness in the hearts of the foolish materialists. And Prabhupada talked about it, mentioned this word Panchashika. The acharyas mentioned in this verse are described. And the word Panchashika is important. It means, Panchashika means one who has understood the consent, the five, which was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, text 5, right? The five different coverings over the soul. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Different levels of understanding the Brahmana. The subtle coverings of the soul. So that person is called Panchashika. And there's a person, an acharya, named Panchashika, who took birth in the family of Maharaj Janaka. Anyway, that's one of the questions there on the sheet.
So he is also one among them.
Yeah, he's also there. Yeah, he's a Brahmana. He's a learned Brahmana with a lot of knowledge. Not great devotees, doesn't mean they're all great devotees. Anyway, Maharaj Chitraketu goes on, and he's praising the Angira and Narada. He said, you give me real knowledge. And he said, I'm foolish as a village animal, like a pig, a dog. I'm in the darkness of ignorance. Please ignite the torch of knowledge to save me. So Prabhupada said, this is the way to receive knowledge. You have to submit yourself to the spiritual teacher. When you come to Krishna consciousness, you have to come in that kind of thinking that you want to get knowledge. If you're coming, Prabhupada said, if you think the Guru will cure my disease, or he'll perform some miracle for me to benefit me, then that's useless. That's useless.
Maharaj, the subtle covering of the soul, intelligence, mind, and false ego are the subtle coverings of the soul.
What?
Subtle body is there, na?
Uh-huh.
Subtle body is mind, intelligence, and false ego.
Okay.
And this is also here 5 subtle coverings are there. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Jnanamaya, and this is one set. Both are same or separately? One angle it is different and
Separate.
both are separate.
Yeah. These are coverings of Brahman. Different levels of Brahman.
So there is no, the mind is not subdivided into these 5.
Well, first of all, you've got Annamaya. Annamaya is just depending on grains for your existence, right? Just like a baby, when a baby is born, or animals, they just want to eat. The dog just wants to eat, so they just live for food. So that kind of consciousness, that is Annamaya. So a bit higher than that is Manamaya, where you start to think something. You start to think about it. Not just only eat, but you start to think. And then higher than that is Jnanamaya? Jnanamaya. You make distinction. Vijnanamaya. Yeah. Some places it's Jnanamaya and not Manamaya. And Manamaya, Vijnanamaya. No, Vijnanamaya is number 4, right?
Yes.
And then Anandamaya. You have to come to the level Anandamaya. That's the highest level. That's the perfection. That's the bliss. To understand our blissful nature. Vijnanamaya is understanding also the spiritual nature. Vijnanamaya.
So that means the soul is covered by these 5 and also by mind.
These are different levels of understanding. They're different levels where they're described to be like coverings.
Levels of understanding the
So
soul. Understand.
coming to it's described in Bhagavad Gita, and here we Prabhupada's
Yes,
purport,
yes.
13th chapter,
Yes.
text number 5. So we have to approach the Guru in this mode to get knowledge, to destroy the darkness of ignorance. Not for any mundane material reason, not for curing our disease, like you were saying, the 2 men on the train. Oh, I want to get my daughter married. Oh, I have a bank problem. And Prabhupada said, I'll give you my blessings. I'll make you a brahmachari. Then they ran away. So tadvigyanartam sagurum evam vedachit, right? This is how you approach the Guru. You approach the Guru to get spiritual knowledge. So that's the proper mood. And Prabhupada writes here, this year I was born, Om Jnana Timirandasya, we always say that prayer, and that the spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances unto him. This gives a definition of a guru. Everyone is in ignorance, darkness of ignorance. When one who enlightens his disciple, saves him from rotting in the darkness of ignorance, he is a true guru. Right? Guru's business is not to flatter. Guru's business is to give us real knowledge. So, Chitraketu has come in a humble way. Now Angira is speaking and he's going to introduce Narada Muni to him. He said, "You desire." He said, "When you first met me, you desired to have a son." Chitraketu didn't recognize him because he looked different. But he said, "I'm the one who came. I gave you this son." Chitraketu, he could not recognize that this was the same man because he dressed differently. But he said, "When I approached you, you desired to have this son. And this Rishi, this is Narada, the direct son of Lord Brahma. And Gira is also the son of Brahma. They're both sons of Brahma." He said, and he tell the king, "You are an advanced devotee. So to be, and Chitraketu, you're an advanced devotee. So to be lamenting like that for something material is not right. So we've come to try to get you out of this lamentation. When you're advanced in spiritual knowledge, it's not good to be lamenting for your loss or gain." So Mahapurush means an advanced devotee. Mahapurusha, the supreme person.
Vittasura is also now.
So one Mahapurushika means the servant of, one is the servant of the Supreme Lord. Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, they are Mahapurushika. Alright, so that Angira, so why didn't Angira give this knowledge to Chitraketu in the beginning? Why did he give him the son?
Because he was preoccupied with thoughts of son.
Yeah, he was so absorbed, he was so attached to the idea of having a son. So he gave him the son, okay, have a son. But this son will give you some pleasure, it will give you some suffering also. So Maharaj Chitraketu, an advanced devotee, had fallen in the darkness of ignorance. For a devotee, an advanced self-realized soul, there is no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. He's always transcendental to conditional life. So that is the position. Devotees, we're always transcendental. Right? What does Lord Chaitanya pray in the Shikshastikam? How does he pray? Yeah, he could say like that. Yeah, I don't want anything. And he says also, even you handle me roughly, make me broken-hearted, but you're my worshipful Lord. Unconditionally, no conditions. People come to God, oh, you should make me happy, you should give me, you should take care of me, take care of my family. They have so many requests, what they want from God. But pure devotion is we come to give service without conditions. So Angira said, when I first came to your home, I could have given you the supreme knowledge. But when I saw your mind was absorbed in material things, I gave you only a son who caused you jubilation and lamentation. So that's the situation. Gave you a son. Now you're experiencing the misery of a person who has sons and daughters. Right? You're experiencing, are you experiencing, these are young men, they haven't experienced these things. Right? You've got two daughters.
I'm experiencing every night, Maharaj. They don't let me sleep.
Really?
My daughters are too young, they cry all night.
Oh my God. How old are they?
One is 3, another is 1.5.
Oh, yeah, they will cry. Yeah.
They get sick, cold and this,
Oh,
fever and this.
What about you?
I have one son, 23 years old.
23. Oh, you're okay. Liberated. Yeah.
I am free now.
owner of this they're telling the king, they're telling this king, all of your things, your kingdom, your wife, your home, your treasury, all temporary. It's going to be given to you for some time. You won't keep it. It's all causes of fear, illusion, lamentation, and distress. The more you have to worry about losing. If you don't have anything, you don't have to worry about losing anything. Right? So he described, they are like Gandharva Nagara, a non-existent palace. We imagine existing, impermanent. No, they're just illusion and dreams. So one must be situated in his spiritual identity and eternally serve the Supreme Person. Angira and Narada gave this instruction to Maharaj Chitraketu. These objects are like dreams and mental concoctions. They have no permanent existence. Everything material is a mental concoction, sometimes visible and sometimes not. I mean, they talk about dreaming. At night we dream tigers and snakes. Oh, the tiger is coming. Oh, the snake is there. Big snake. And we wake up, the dream is over, there's no tiger, there's no snake. Before you went to sleep, they were not there, only in the dream they come. So at night we dream, but as soon as the dream is over, then it's all over. Material world is just like that. So we become more and more involved with concoctions. And this is the reason for our suffering in the material world.
Mental concoction is the reason for suffering?
Mental concoction, what is it? The cause of suffering? Attachment. We become involved with so many things. We become involved with material concoctions. We're thinking, this is mine. We work in various ways. We want to achieve things. We take advantage, we get the advantages we desire. We have to be careful. The concoctions, mental concoctions, desires which we have in our mind. And it's all decided by karma, daiva, netrena. Means it depends on who?
Supreme Lord.
And karma. And karma. The Supreme Lord and our karma. So in the bodily conception of life, we suffer 3 kinds of misery. The body is a source of all miseries. So Prabhupada quotes Lord Rishabdev, Asanapi kleshada asadeha, right? Asanapi kleshada asadeha. Klesha, trouble. The body is the cause of so many trouble. Nunam pramita kurute vikarma yadindriya pritai aprinoti nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asanapi kleshada asadeha. Right? Nunam pramita kurute vikarma. We do sinful activities. We're thinking we're the body because we think we're the... So we go and do sinful activities. Vikarma. Nunam pramita kurte vikam. Yes, indriya pritai aprinoti. Our senses are uncontrolled. So we act according to our senses. Nasadu manye yata. That is not good. Nasadu manye yata atman asanapi kleshada asa. That is not good. On account of all these sinful activities, you're going to get another body which will cause you more suffering. So, like this, Lord Rishabdev was telling his sons like that. So know, the whole material world is all based on mental concoction. The mind is the center, because the mind creates all these things. All these things, all the miseries, Adhyatmic, Adhibhautic, Adhidaivic, they're all creations of the mind. You have a nice car, you're driving the car, and then the car crash. Finish. Oh, my car. We lament. Oh. Prabhupada used to talk about ambassador. You know, in India we used to have only ambassador car. You know, in the 1970s, the only car was ambassador. And so you say, oh, get out of the way, I am ambassador. Get out, rickshaw, out of the way, I am ambassador. Yeah. And you hit me. Somebody hit the car, you know. You hit me. We think I am the car. Oh, this is ignorant. So, the Angira, Narada, they speak to the king, they tell him, they said, consider where you have come from, where you are going after giving up this body, why you are under the control of material lamentation. Try to understand your real position in this way, then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment. It's important to get people to think about these things. Where have you come from? Where are you going? You can preach to people, you ask them, you know, you're this age, you know, what are you planning? Where are you going? Do you ever think about the future? You think, the next life, I mean, I don't mean this life, I mean next life. Where are you planning to go? We should have some goal. We should be thinking about the next life, where we're going to go. It's very important. Some, oh, I never thought about it. Oh. And what do? They're just working, make money, give money for their family. Oh, and they never think about the next life, the future. And it's very wrong, right? They have to think. So, Prabhupada said, our movement is to bring people to a sober condition. We have to have faith in, he said, one must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them. Then one will be sober and peaceful. We get attached to all these material things. The car, the bank balance, the home, the children, one after another. Education. So Narada Muni is there. Ankir has been giving the Gyan. He's giving the Gyan. Now Narada is coming. He's going to give the Bhakti. And he tells the king, I'm going to give you a mantra, most auspicious. After getting it from me in 7 nights, you will be able to see the Lord face to face. Lord Shiva and other demigods, in the past, they took shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sankarshan. They immediately got free from the illusion of duality and achieved unequaled and unsurpassed glories in spiritual life. You will very soon attain that very same position. So Narada Muni is going to give the king a mantra. And he's just got to chant it for 7 days. But he chants it very seriously. He doesn't even drink it, didn't take any food. Fasting for 7 days. And chanting the mantra. And you'll see, he gets to meet Lord Sankarshan. So, we'll come to that tomorrow. Any questions?
So 7 nights, what is the significance? 7 nights?
Well, pretty quick. Not long. You don't have. It's there. That was it. He said, you chant the mantra 7 days. No. It's you could say it's an impetus. It's a special gift.
Like Parikshit Maharaj also got 7 days, here also 7 days.
Well, 7 days, 1 week, right?
Within a week.
Within a week, yes.
Right?
Pretty quick.
Very lucky.
within 1 minute.
Within 1 unit. Yes, chapters.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Bhakti.
Maharaj, tomorrow on class for only 10:30 to 1:30.
Yeah.
No afternoon.
No. We have class today, so we didn't have to have.
Yeah.
We'll just have 2 classes on Thursday, I think.
Yeah. But if we go with this pace, we can finish
In the
Yeah.
morning.
4 classes.
Well, these 2 chapters are light.
Yes.
The next chapters are big.
Tomorrow, which chapter?
Oh,
A lot
okay.
of reports. It's a much bigger. These 2 chapters I thought were quite light. There's not a lot in them.
Yes, yes.
So we went through it quickly. And at the end also, the last few chapters, not much there.
65th.
We'll try to finish quickly.
Okay.